with infants and their mothers, where they would separate boys and girls from their mothers, and they would put an obstacle in between the two of them. And so when they did this with the female infants, they would get to the obstacle, see their mother, stop, and start hysterically crying. Whereas boys would get to the obstacle and would climb over it, fall down, kick it, roll over it, do whatever they had to do to get through it. The takeaway from it, which is true even at this age, is that when a problem comes up, women just want to be heard. And as men, we just want to fix the problem. And that's so true when we go to argue. And that's why when I talk with Chandra and she comes to me with something, I immediately say, do you want me to give you a solution or do you just want me to listen? And 9 times out of 10, she says, I just want you to listen. But I only know that at 45 years old because I've had 30 years of doing it the wrong way.
The biggest part that most people miss out on is that the average man is ill-equipped to handle a woman's emotions. Like we've been taught to cater to you guys and keep you happy. And when you're not happy, we immediately want to get you back to happy.
Yeah.
So we go into fix-it mode. Well, a lot of times when you understand what women really are and how they process emotions, and it's something that a man like me studies and is educated in and reads up on these type of things. So the average man really doesn't know that. Most of the time, women just want to talk, man. Like, look, they just want to talk. And I have saved myself so much breath and lung capacity by learning how to just sit there. Or, like he said, simply ask that question. All right, sweet face, what do you want? You want an answer right now? Because you'll come and, my boss and this and and I'm like,
that's
okay.
my voice sound like that?
Because that's how you sound to me.
Why do you do that?
That's how you sound to me, man. Listen. And so I'm like, okay, pause. Do you want me to? You want answers? You want some guidance on this thing, or do you just want to listen, or do you just want a hug? You just need a hug. What you need? And most times, like you said, she's I just want to talk. Nothing you really can do about it. It's just what it is. But I just want to talk about it. Okay, cool. So I get to sit there and listen to her sweet voice, and I let her get it all out, and I give her a hug. And sometimes I sit her on my lap, or just hold her and just let her, get it out, and then we're done. Because what will happen if you jump into that state where you're trying to fix the problem, and she's not ready to receive it, then she's gonna get frustrated, and then you're gonna get angry and feel like she's not listening or she's disrespecting you. You came to me with this problem, then you're trying to. Well, you didn't ask the right questions, also, and you don't know what you're dealing with. You're not dealing with another man. You're dealing with a woman, and it's a totally different thought process.
Yes, it is.
As to problem solving, and to everything goes to the emotions first. And most of you guys watching that understand that, but you don't understand what many of you don't understand. Also, is that to a woman, her emotions are as real as the chair you're sitting in, as real as the house you're sitting in, apartment you're sitting in. They're just that real to them. It could have happened 10 minutes ago. It could have happened 10 years ago. But it is just as real to her and just as relevant as it is then. Look, it sounds crazy to us, but we don't make the rules.
Right.
It is what it is.
Right.
And you got to understand it as a man. So.
We when we are like talking to our couples and kind of teaching them like some of the tools and tips and even techniques for communication. When I'm talking to the ladies, I do actually tell them, let your man off the hook so he understands what is required of him at that time. Oh, we used that required word. What's required of him at that time. So what I typically tell the ladies is this, hey, sweetheart, I need to tell you something, but I don't need you to solve a problem. I just need you to listen. That way it frees his mind from going right into that problem solving mode. What we have to recognize as women is that men are a valuable resource to us, and that problem solving mechanism that he has, that also requires a lot of energy, a lot of thought, a lot of everything that goes into it that he needs to use to utilize. He's tapping into resources, mental, physical, other financial, whatever resources he needs to solve that problem. And if all we need is just for him to listen, why not let him off the hook and actually have him save that energy and not even have to go into that mode. So it just makes things a lot easier. And again, like you said, as you could jump right into problem solving, I don't get to vent and get everything out. Now I'm feeling like you're not listening to me and I don't feel heard. Yeah. And all those other emotions that really don't need to come into play. And now you're in an unnecessary argument. So just let each other off the hook, whether he's asking, hey, do you need me to solve the problem or just listen? Or as the woman, you can actually say, I just need you to listen. Yeah, and that helps.
I know a lot of maybe younger guys, and maybe some of your older guys are like, man, I ain't got time for all this. You can tell me, listen, fellas, listen to your uncle.
I'm trying to help you out.
Married for a long time. If you're going to be married to a woman, particularly a feminine woman, which is what we all say we want, and I've been married to one for almost 24 years, and it's the best thing since sliced bread. But with that comes a lot of different energy. You are going to have to learn to listen and to lead in these areas when things come up, because that's not her job, and she doesn't necessarily want to do it. And when you're dealing with the woman who is in her emotions, or you're dealing with the feminine woman that's in her emotions, the main thing she needs to know is that you're going to be there.
Yeah.
And that you're not going to leave her out there in the middle of the ocean of her tides of her emotions and all the things she's going, because she's looking to you for stability. That's what you're there for.
Right.
So a lot of you young fellas, I hear y'all, on this platform talking about you want a feminine woman. Well, welcome to the valley of the real. Because I'm telling you right now, it's great, and I love it. I love it. I love my wife to death. She's amazing. But a feminine woman does not like to feel like she's not being heard. And she does not like to feel like she's unprotected.
Yeah.
Because y'all been dating these no limit soldiers too long.
You say no limit.
No limit soldiers. That's what I call it. Oh, some of these girls, they're tougher than some dudes I know. But if you're gonna marry a feminine woman, you gotta be prepared to handle those tides of emotions, and you gotta know how to communicate to her in a way that doesn't make her feel dumb or belittled or small or like you don't care. And a big part of that is learning to listen to what she's saying. Even if it doesn't make sense to you in that moment, she just wants to know you're there. And you can just reassure her, hey, I got you. Just go, and then follow up with it. And that's real leadership right there. Because I'll come back to her like a day or two after she's had her little session, and she's been hey, you doing okay with that situation at work or that situation you're dealing with?
Close the loop.
Yeah, tell me how you feeling now. How are you feeling now? And use that language. How are you feeling? Because you can tell how are you. What women, it's always going to be feelings at first. You got to understand it. It's always going to be feeling. How are you feeling? That's not how men talk to each other, but that's how women hear things. So, and then she'll say, well, yeah, I feel a lot better. I prayed and I talked to Susan and, all these other things. You know what I'm talking about. You know how you do, man. Don't play with me. And
and can I say on the other side of that, though, it's nice to be able to vent and to share our emotions and feelings, but our husbands and our significant others don't necessarily want to hear our feelings 24/7.
Oh, yeah.
So there needs to be some sort of agreement, compromise, limit to when you're sharing, how much you're divulging, and then even how often you need to vent. Because at some point, now we're talking about you needing to develop some coping skills to be able to kind of self-regulate. Now we're talking about maybe you're needing another type of outlet in which you can vent. Journaling is one of the ones I love the most. So he's not just your sounding board for all things that frustrate you, because that's going to wear him out. He's busy trying to figure out how to take care of the entire family, how to protect, how to provide, how to problem solve, all those things that he's always thinking about. And if you're always bringing something to him, now we're talking about you needing to learn some coping skills and how you need to be able to self-regulate. And that may mean you need the assistance of therapy. You may need the assistance of coaching. You may need to go join a gym, do some yoga, or friends or
I hear
whatever.
A lot of husbands be like, man, she ain't got no friends. And she whooping on his head with that woman is wearing that man out. I'd be like, hey, talk to her. Whoa, if you find your man doing that, trying to introduce you to other women all the time, that means you need to get some
always
friends.
Going out with other couples. Hey, I want you to meet so and so.
Yeah, you need to get some friends.
Go over there and talk.
Because a lot of women will do that. They'll get married and they'll make their husband and their children the center
just their world,
everything,
and then that's it.
And then they cut everything else out. And you're gonna need to do that to a degree. But you need friendships outside the marriage, especially same-sex friendships outside the marriage, because he or she cannot be everything.
Right.
You can't talk, and as a man, I know I can't just come and dump everything I'm feeling on my wife, because she's going to internalize it, and that woman will not even sleep. Really important that we have those friendships outside of the marriage, especially same-sex. It's really important. And it's also important, like the gentleman was saying, just to understand what the conversation is that we're having, and don't make any assumptions, because if you don't, you may assume wrong, and then he or she is going to get upset, and somebody's not going to feel like their needs are not getting met, and then here you're going to be coming to see us. So that's really important that we do that. So I think for now, that's enough said.